Hey there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany if you are new here, and today we're going to be talking everything TTC. So I posted on my Instagram that I was going to be doing a Q&A, and I asked you guys to ask me some questions if you had any, and you guys did. I've been getting some questions throughout the last year about my TTC journey, which is the trying to conceive journey if you don't know what that means. And so I figured let me just go ahead and round up all the questions together and answer them in a video like this. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I also posted that if you guys have any other general questions to let me know, and some of you did, and I will answer those as well. So the first question is, do you have reservations about doing IVF? And the short answer to that is now. Yes, I do. So as you may or may not know, my TTC journey started in July of 2019. Now for the full 4.5 years, or just over 4 years, we have not been doing like medications and like treatment plans and things like that. That is just the amount of time that we have been trying for a baby unsuccessfully. So into my TTC journey, I started doing medicated cycles. Those all failed. We tried an IUI. That failed, and I had finally come to the point in December of 2021 where I was like, okay, let's just do IVF, because I think at that point that would have been 3 years into it, or going into my 3rd year of trying for a baby, and I was like, let's just go full force, let's just do it. And that is, if you guys look back from my December of 21 vlogs, whenever I was doing the injectables, we were growing the follicles, I did the trigger shot to release it, we had medicated cycle, we had, you know, all of the things, and I was like, okay, everything else has failed, let's go into IVF. IVF works a little differently. You have to get on birth control first to sync your cycles up with the labs. So you have to do birth control first. And January came around and I got COVID. That was the first time I had experienced COVID, was in July. Oh my gosh, I keep saying July. In January of 2022, and my body responded really weird. I had heart palpitations, I was dizzy, I had a lot of weird symptoms that a lot of people aren't or don't experience with COVID. I had that. So that took a while to get over. Like I was like, okay, I need to just take a break from everything. I was like, I just have to let my body heal and get all this like COVID out of me. So that was a couple of months. I think around May is whenever I officially started feeling better again. And I was like, okay, I feel like back to myself. My timeline might be a little rough because 2022 was a heck of a year, but in July, I got back on birth control in May, and then in July, I got COVID again. So I tried it in January, boom, COVID. Tried it again in July, got back on birth control for IVF, boom, COVID. So as you guys know, I am a Christian, and I don't think anything happens by coincidence. And it's just been kind of been on me lately that those were kind of like maybe signs from God that like right now is not your time, or this is not the way I want it to happen, or you're only supposed to have one, because I mean it's just too perfect of a timeline for it to be coincidental for me. So yeah, because of that, and because I'm able to kind of look back and reflect on it a little bit now, I am a little hesitant, and I do have reservations about going through with IVF again, and I don't think that that will actually become an option for us. Not only do I have those kind of views because of my spirituality, but also, and this is something that I have talked with my therapist a lot about, is that because of COVID, my battery's gonna die, hold on. Like I was saying, I've spoken with my therapist quite a bit about this, and because of COVID and because of everything that I had with COVID, I had kind of like health anxiety for a while, and I even opened up to you guys about it. There was a time in my life whenever I thought, you know, anything to do with like being pregnant or having a baby or anything like that, my brain automatically went to like the medical side of it, and I could no longer enjoy the thought of being pregnant because it terrified me because of the medical aspect of it. IVF is very, very, very invasive. I think it would just be a lot on my mental health, and I just don't think that I would want to do that to myself. I think that I'm at a really good place in my life, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, family. Like, I just feel like I'm in a really good place right now, and I just don't think that IVF is an option for me anymore. There was a time when I thought yes, but I don't think that's an option anymore. Speaking of mental health, this is a perfect opportunity for me to take a moment to thank today's sponsor of this video, and that is BetterHelp. Regardless if you have mental health issues or health anxiety or depression, or if you're just a human that lives in the world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you tools to approach life in a different way. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more accessible and affordable. And this is a very important mission because finding therapy can be really hard, especially when you're limited to your options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding therapy easier because it's online. It's remote, and by filling out a few questions online, BetterHelp can find you a therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description below. It's betterhelp.com/Tiffanie. Clicking that link supports this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of using BetterHelp. And because finding a therapist is a little bit like dating, if you don't really fit with the therapist that you have, which is a common thing in therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist with no additional cost to you. As you may know, BetterHelp is the platform that I turned to in the very beginning of my trying to conceive journey, and my therapist was very, very helpful. She was actually the one who gave me the perspective of giving myself time to grieve the life that didn't happen every time I had a failed pregnancy test. That's something that I didn't do until I talked to my BetterHelp therapist, and it was an amazing insight because it really helped me in the long run to get through that really difficult time. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy by clicking the link down below in my description. Like I said, betterhelp.com/Tiffanie for 10% off your first month. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Okay, next question. Do you think you'll ever go back to assisted help to try to conceive? I think that I would potentially get back on like a letrozole or like a hormone booster if necessary, but they really didn't do anything for me other than just grow my follicles bigger. I have regular cycles. I am very, very regular. I ovulate regularly. Like, my body is doing everything it needs to do, which is why the infertility has been such a curious thing to me and my doctors and everybody involved, because there's really no reason why Manny and I can't have another baby. Just for whatever reason, it's just not happening. So I wouldn't be against like, you know, medication or things like that. One thing that I know, if we decide we want to go ahead and really go back into it full force, is we will be using Mosey Baby. That is something that I really, really love the product, because whenever you're in the thick of trying to conceive, it can become very stressful. It takes the stress out of it a little bit, and I really love the product. So I think I might use that in the future. Like I said, maybe medication, but as far as like injecting my body or doing IUIs or IVF, any of like the procedural stuff, I just don't think we're going to be doing that again. Do you feel your next TTC journey will be more relaxing? 100% yes. Like I just mentioned, I don't think we're going to be doing any of like the major procedures. I know that IUIs really hurt me. I know what all goes into it. And I just don't think we'll be doing any of that. Like I said, Mosey is something you can do at home in the comfort of your own bedroom and with your partner, and it's more relaxed and it doesn't hurt. Because like I said, I am having regular periods, I have a regular cycle. There's no reason for me not to be able to get pregnant. I've checked all my blood levels, I've checked the thyroid, I mean, I've checked Manny's, everything. We've checked from head to toe, and we are healthy adults, so there's no medical reason we shouldn't be getting pregnant, which is why I think I feel more spiritually led in everything that's been happening, because for me that just makes sense to me and my faith, and it gives me a sense of peace about it. So yes, absolutely. To answer your question, the next TTC journey, if we decide to go back into one officially, it will definitely be more relaxed, and I will still test my ovulation. I will still test, you know, for baby and things like that, but I will never put the amount of stress on me, on my body, on my mental health ever again. Never. I just won't. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. How did you take a step back on TTC at some point, and did it release some anxiety? I was actually kind of forced to take a step back, as I've shared with you guys. I was full force, man. I mean, you couldn't change my mind. I was dead set on doing IVF and getting a baby, and it was gonna happen because I was gonna make it happen and you couldn't tell me otherwise. I mean, I was stopped because of COVID. I was stopped in my tracks. Boop, pop the brakes, boop, 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 boop. We stop it right here. This is my stop. So I was forced because I got sick twice and my body reacted weird to COVID and I had all these weird symptoms, and instead of focusing on what I didn't have, I was forced to focus on what was going on. So yeah, I was forced to stop because of my health. And did it release some anxiety? Because I was forced, it actually gave me anxiety because of everything that was happening with my health and the doctors and blood work and going to the hospital and going to urgent care and doing all the things. There are a lot of things in my last year that I just have not shared with you guys that is just very personal, but last year was very, very, very tough. Very tough. Very tough. And I didn't think I was gonna cry. I am so happy with my life right now. I just feel so grateful because there are so many answered prayers coming to fruition right now. Like, there's just so much good in my life that I feel a sense of peace. I just feel a sense of peace. And I don't feel that sense of like something is missing or longing, or I just don't have that feeling anymore. I really don't know how to describe it to you, but I just feel at peace now. And I don't know if that's because of the struggle that I had to go through last year in order to finally find this peace. But I don't think I would have gotten here had it not been for my last year. So although it royally sucked, I'm really grateful for everything I went through, because it definitely taught me a lesson of gratitude, and now my life is just amazing. I have a new job. Tristan's in a private school and he's not being bullied, and my husband might be getting a new job, and I'm just really grateful. Okay, on to the next question. Do you think you'll share if you decide to do a TTC journey again? Yeah, I think so. I think that the trying to conceive journey, infertility, fertility treatments, you know, having a baby, getting pregnant, all of those things are so intimate, but I feel like infertility is one of those things that like nobody talks about. Like, it's one of those things that it's like, oh, she's been struggling for so long. Oh, I had no idea, because people just don't talk about it. And although I may not go through the procedures, or I may not go through a TTC journey that it looked like before, if Manny and I decide that like we are serious about wanting another baby and we still can't for whatever reason, I would love to be able to be an advocate still for that space and to be able to share our journey. I mean, even the journey that I've had already, I've kept all of my videos up on YouTube because that is my journey, that is my experience, and that is my story that I can tell and I can share, and I can hopefully help somebody to let them know that they're just not alone and that there are other women that have gone through it too. Now, not everybody is going to have my point of view or my perspective on it, of course, about like why I'm not going to go back to IVF and things like that, but I'm not here to try to pull your leg or force you to believe what I believe. This is just how I feel in my heart as to why we're not going to be doing IVF. Everybody is open to your own opinions, your own titles, like that is completely your decision. But as far as sharing the journey and the journey that I decide to go on for myself, absolutely, I will of course share it with you. I think that's all the TTC questions I'm going to share because they're getting a little bit the same thing over and over again. It's just where I've been, what happened, and what I'm planning to do going forward. So I put up if you guys had any other additional questions that were not TTC related, and a couple of you answered, and I'm just gonna bring out one that I liked. Somebody asked, do you ever have imposter syndrome as a parent of an older kid but you're still young? I don't know if I'd call it imposter syndrome, but I definitely feel like, especially right now where he's at that like tween teen age and I'm just 31, I feel like it's so different. Like it just feels so different because at my age, you know, at 30, typically women have like just had a baby or are going to have a baby or have like 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old, like maybe if they got pregnant in their 20s, and like, but for a 30-year-old or 31-year-old to have a 12 going on 13-year-old, obviously, yeah, she's a young mom. I don't feel like it's imposter syndrome because I have always known that I have wanted to be a mom. I babysat little babies and helped my mom at daycares and things like that. So I've always had like a sense of like, sorry, speaking of Tristan, we had an unannounced guest. Like I was saying, I have always felt in my soul like I was a mom. I mothered things all my life. I feel like a mama to some of my friends. I am like a second mom to my nieces and nephews. Like I just have a very mothering spirit. So I don't feel like an imposter to be his mother, but I definitely feel like it is challenging because not only am I still developing like as a human, but now I'm developing another human who is challenging me in my development. So it's just a different realm. It's really like, I love it though. I love how close we are, and I love being able to like share experiences with him now. And like, I was even teasing him the other day because I was like, he said something about like having a glass of wine with me. And I was like, oh yeah, in 10 years, whenever you want to get a glass of wine, you can take me on a date officially because you'll be 22. Like, in 10 years, I'll have a 22-year-old. Like, what is life? But I think it's really, really cool. And I'm very blessed. Like, I sit back and I think about like Manny and Maya's relationship and our parents and our family unit, right? And it's just so perfect. He was like born at the perfect time because now he's in like the middle of the like kid tier in our family. My sister has 2 older boys. She's got 17, 13, and then a 7-year-old daughter. And Tristan is like the 13-year-old's like brother. Like they're so, I think they're like 6 months apart. So they're so close. And I just thank God for that because that is like Tristan's brother, basically. You know what I mean? And it's like, if I were to just be having a baby right now, they would have no connection with any of their cousins because they're like so far away from them in age. So it just worked out perfectly. And I just feel grateful for the life that I've been given. And if that means that I only have one kid and one boy, like, that's fine. Like, if that's the way God intended it, like, that is fine. Because again, science, medical, like, research, everything to do with, like, the physical body, I should be able to have a baby. Like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to have a baby. So why we can't get a baby, God only knows, literally, God only knows. But I hope that answered that question. So again, not imposter syndrome because I always have felt like a mother in my soul. So being a mother, it just comes very naturally to me. But being a young mother to a tween teenager definitely is challenging, but it's really fun and really rewarding. That is all the questions I'm going to answer for today. Thank you again for sending in the questions. I think these are really fun. I actually really enjoy Q&As. I feel like I'm a very open book when it comes to like my life and who I am and things like that, but it's always good to like get your questions and perspectives. So maybe we can do this again sometime. Maybe it doesn't have to be about trying to conceive. And to just throw another question in there, have I decided what I'm going to be doing for TTC? No. In this current moment right now, I am not focused on TTC. Right now I am focused on just living my life, forming routines, finding good habits, like building the routines that bring balance in my life and bring joy in my life. And that is not centered or focused on trying to conceive and trying to have another baby. But does that mean in a year from now or 6 months from now or 2 years from now I will have the same feelings? No. I told Manny the only cutoff that we have is when I turn 35. I do not want to try to have a baby after I turn 35 because then it becomes a bit more dangerous, and at that point, I mean, my babies will be so far apart. I'm just like, no, we're just not gonna go there. So I'm 31 now. I'll turn 32 in November. So I've got some time to make it happen. We've got a few years. If we decide to go back on a TTC journey, I will definitely let you guys know though. Thank you guys so much again for sending in your questions. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it answered the questions that you sent in. If you have any more questions, feel free to send them to me on my Instagram. You can always DM me. My handle did change recently. It's Tiffanie x Michelle, one word. But yeah, send it to me through a DM. I will answer it either through the DM or I will do another sit down video like this and we can do another Q&A. So thanks again for watching. I love you and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.